Welcome to Photoshop Kindergarten, a series where I explain Photoshop to you as if you were 5.
What is the difference between a vector versus a raster? And what does it mean to rasterize something? In Photoshop, there's two different kinds of images. There are vector images and there are raster images. With a vector image, you can resize it without affecting the quality of the image, but you cannot edit it. With raster images, it's the opposite. Not so good for resizing, but you can edit them. Examples of vector images are paths, shapes, type. Now, because we can't edit vectors, if we want to make edits to it, we have to rasterize it first. We have to turn the vector image into a raster image. So if I try to directly edit this, a little window will pop up that says shape must be rasterized before proceeding. They're basically saying, hey, this is a vector and you can't edit it until you turn it into a raster. So I'm going to head to my layers panel, right click on the layer, hit rasterize layer, and now I can directly edit. Same thing with type layers. If I try to edit it, the window will come up. It says you have to rasterize this before proceeding. Now, if I want to resize this, I have to do it before rasterizing it, because the rule is that if it's a vector, you can resize it without compromising the quality of the image. So I got to make sure I get all of my resizing out of the way before I rasterize this image. So I'm going to shrink this back down, and just for funsies, I'm going to rasterize this layer, and then I'm going to resize this image to show you the difference between trying to resize a raster versus resizing a vector. Now I'm toggling between the same images that were resized, except one is a raster and one is a vector. It's very subtle, but can you tell the difference? This is a great exercise to practice observing very, very small details. Quick recap: vectors are good for resizing but bad for editing. Rasters are bad for resizing but good for editing. If you have a vector image and you rasterize it, it becomes a raster image. It sounds like a lot of information, so I don't want you to worry about all the details. Just get into Photoshop and play around with vectors and rasters and practice rasterizing, and I promise the rest will come to you through trial and error. So don't forget to practice, and I'll see you next time.